All right. How's it going, everyone? Today I'm just going to be figuring out Flutter Windows, how I can use it, and how I can at least get it set up so I can start making apps for one more platform. Let's see that. Stable Flutter upgrade. Don't have to be
Now, of course, if we're going to focus on the desktop, we have to start with Windows, which runs on more than 1 billion desktop computers. And so today marks a significant milestone for our desktop vision with the stable release of our Windows support. This enables Windows developers to benefit from the same productivity and power that mobile developers have already been enjoying with Flutter. And there's a lot that carries across to the desktop from our experience on iOS and Android. From the portable hardware-accelerated graphics engine to the Flutter rendering system, core primitives like animation, theming, text input, and internationalization, the hundreds of widgets that Flutter includes, as well as thousands of packages from the community ecosystem. But if that's all we did to make Flutter apps run on the desktop, that still wouldn't be enough. Even though it's the same source code, desktop apps aren't just mobile apps running on a bigger screen. They're designed to run on a completely different set of hardware, a monitor, a keyboard, a mouse. All of that provides a completely different user experience. Beyond that, every operating system has its own conventions for critical things like accessibility, input method editors, and visual styling. And finally, great desktop apps integrate with the underlying operating system, taking advantage of the tens of thousands of APIs for everything from file system pickers to device hardware to local data stores. If you're building for Windows, then we've now got an offering for you that takes all of these considerations to heart. And to tell you more about our Windows-specific support, I'm going to hand it over to Zoe.
Thanks, Chris. Let's take a look at how Flutter works on Windows. The Windows implementation of Flutter built on the work that we've been doing for the last 4 years on mobile and web. Just like on other platforms, on Windows, your app runs using a native platform embedder. The embedder is the shell that hosts the Flutter content and interfaces with the rest of the operating system, including user input, rendering, and message handling. In addition, Flutter's architecture allows you to call any of the thousands of Windows APIs offered through Win32, COM, and the Windows Runtime, or WinRT. On top of the embedder is the engine, a small runtime that provides your app with the Windows implementation of the Skia library, which does the GPU-accelerated drawing. The engine also includes the Dart runtime and the text rendering libraries. This is the same engine that runs at top speed on much smaller mobile devices, so it has been tightly optimized for years. The framework sits on top of the engine and provides the core animation, layout, and rendering services of Flutter, as well as the widgets against which you write your code. The framework also provides the widgets and the design system that gives your app its look and feel. You can choose from several widget libraries. The material design system can be fully customized to give your app a consistent UI across multiple platforms. Or, if you'd like to provide a native Windows look and feel, you have all the widgets you need to build a beautiful app that uses the Fluent design system.
That's actually okay. So that's pretty cool. There's Fluent design system. Let's take this and start making notes. Flutter, new doc. And let's just call it stable. Okay.
System. One option for doing that is the excellent Fluent UI package provided by the community, as well as the Fluent UI systems icon package provided by Microsoft themselves. However you want your Flutter app to look on Windows, you have the power you need. The real question is, how hard is it to take advantage of that power when targeting Windows with Flutter? And there's only one way to answer that question. Chris, can you show us what it's like to build a Flutter app on Windows?
You bet, Zoe. I'm happy to. Let's start by creating a Flutter project. Okay.
Okay. Win.
And let's see what we have. So each new Flutter project is going to have a sub-project for each one of the supported stable platforms that comes with Flutter. And as of today, we add Windows. Let's open it up in Visual Studio Code and see what we get. We have a new Windows app, but a pretty famous one. This is the Flutter Counter app, and it works like a Windows app should. We're also running under the debugger right now, which provides all of the debugger services and breakpoints and evaluation, and it also provides the Flutter dev tools. So let's load those up. If you're unfamiliar, the Flutter dev tools are the complete suite of debugging and diagnostic tools that you use when you're building real-world applications with Flutter. All these tools work great for your Windows app development. So I'm loading up an application called Photo Search. The idea of Photo Search is it's meant as a sample app to take advantage of more desktop kinds of features, menuing system and larger form factor and standard dialogues. So what we have here is another Windows app, but you notice that it is styled using the material design language, and that's pretty easy to see with the app bar and the floating action button here. However, today, what we're going to do is we're going to see how much we can make this Flutter app look and feel like Windows. We're going to take advantage of a library from the community that provides an implementation of Microsoft's Fluent UI. And so we're using this community-provided library, and we're going to change out the UI of our app. And what we're going to actually do is remove the reference to material and instead use Fluent. And so when we change to Fluent, we don't want to use material app, we want to use a Fluent app. We're going to take out the reference to the material theme, fix up the const here a little bit. Fluent doesn't have a scaffold, it has a container, it doesn't have a background color, instead it has color. We'll take out the app bar, we'll take out the floating action button. We'll actually take out the reference to the action button, and we'll update the colors here a little. Okay, now let's go back. Notice that we're running our application while we're coding it, and that allows me to go quickly back and forth between the changes I make in my editor and what actually shows up on the screen. So now let's do a search. This dialog isn't right for Windows. For example, the buttons are in the wrong order, and when I press the Enter key, I expect one of them to be a default action, but I can't tell by looking at the buttons which one I'm going to get. So let's fix that. Let's load up the dialog implementation, and again, we're going to replace material with Fluent. And instead of an alert dialog, we've got a content dialog, and instead of a text field, we've got a text box. We'll get rid of this material decoration. Our buttons are in the wrong order, so let's fix that first. And we have some casing problems, so let's fix that. We want an actual button with an outline, so let's change that. Here we want a filled button, just to make it clear which is the default button. And notice right away, without recompiling or reloading my app, all my changes are right there. That is the power of hot reload in Flutter. There we go. I have a nice preview that looks good with my blue background. I press on the photos and download them. Turns out there are a ton of packages and plugins and tools on PubDev that allow you to make your Flutter app look and feel like a Windows app. But if I wanted to, I could have a custom title bar, I could have a taskbar icon, I could even have multiple top-level windows if I wanted. But eventually, when I was done, the next thing I would want to do is ship my app to my users. And before I can ship my app, I have to have a release version. We want the smallest, lightest, fastest thing that we can give to our users. And that's what release code is for. So let's see what we get. We'll see right away that we have a native executable, just like we would expect, except it seems kind of small. This executable is just all of your Dart code compiled into x64 assembly language instructions. It doesn't need to be very big. A lot of what you'll get in Flutter is coming from the runtime. But even so, this is a small app. And so when we double click it, and it started really fast, we call this zero latency startup. And it is one of the benefits you get with Flutter. Its tiny engine has been optimized and minimized to run on mobile. Tiny stuff in assembly language is just what we get as fastest thing that we, a release version. Before I can ship my app, the next thing I would want to do is ship my app to my users. And before I can ship my app, I have to have a release version. We want the smallest.
Flutter build Windows. Oh, okay. So that's the release. Okay. Flutter build Windows.
Lightest, fastest thing that we can give to our users. And that's what release code is for. So let's see what we get. We'll see right away that we have a native executable, just like we would expect, except it seems kind of small. This executable is just all of your Dart code compiled into x64 assembly language instructions. It doesn't need to be very big. A lot of what you'll get in Flutter is coming from the runtime. But even so, this is a small app. And so when we double click it, and it started really fast, we call this zero latency startup. And it is one of the benefits you get with Flutter. Its tiny engine has been optimized and minimized to run on mobile. So when you bring it over to the desktop, you get a much smaller, faster experience than you might otherwise get. And at this point, if you wanted, we could zip up the contents of this folder along with some support DLLs that we document on flutter.dev. We have an enthusiastic Windows developer community for Flutter, and they have already provided a wonderful tool called the MSIX tool. Now, MSIX is a file format that Windows supports out of the box for setup, integrating, start menu, uninstalling. So let's build an MSIX with this tool. Now, the way we do that is we take our pub spec and we add a little bit of extra configuration information. And once we have this information in place, we can run this tool to create an MSIX. And what it's doing is it's taking the contents of our release folder that we already showed you and bundling it up into an MSIX file. And here it is. It's about 10 megabytes. This is the thing that you can put up on your website and send links to, and your users can download and execute. And then this is the experience they'll get. And when I press the install button, it's going to take the files and copy them to the right folder.
Wow. MSIX folder. Let's see if anyone's on. Nope. Cool.
Windows, it will execute your app by default. Notice again how fast it went. Notice it's in the start menu. Or if we look in the apps and features dialog, notice we do a search and we see our app is there. And the other good news is this exact same file format is all you need to get into the Windows Store, which gives you the additional functionality of discoverability and updates as you change your app over time. And there you have it. We went from nothing to...
Wow. Okay, hold on. MSIX file. Create startup. Okay, so MSIX file creates startup. Creates downloadable on startup. Use to publish to Windows Store.
a generic desktop app, and then from a generic desktop app to a Windows app suitable for distribution on the Windows Store. We did all of that in just minutes. Along the way, we took advantage of some of Windows plugins, but there are so many more. In fact, there are already more than 200 Windows-specific plugins, along with more than 10,000 Windows-compatible packages that you can drop into your Windows apps today. To call out just a few, there's the file selector, which enables the file and folder standard dialogues on Windows. There's the Win32 package, which provides FFI bindings for literally thousands of Win32, COM, and WinRT APIs to make it simple to take advantage of Windows services directly from your dark code. And then there's Realm, a super fast local data store that has a Flutter SDK in preview today. And the best part, it supports Windows as well as iOS, Android, and macOS, so you can use it in your cross-platform apps. And then there's the camera plugin, which you can see in action here. There's Tom from CodeMate demonstrating their Dashcam app for Windows. And it's not just packages and plugins, but tooling support as well. As you've already seen, Flutter DevTools provides a host of advanced debugging tools for your Windows apps. And our tooling partners are adding Windows support as well. As just one example, Flutterflow, the low-code Flutter app design tool, supports desktop-sized form factors and Windows specifically. And another Flutter tool that's been updated for Windows is the CodeMagic CI/CD tool from Nevercode. It supports testing and building your Windows apps in the cloud, as well as deploying your app all the way to the Windows Store. You can take advantage of their Windows support today. Okay, Zoe, I think that covers the basics of targeting Windows with Flutter. Back to you.
That was great. Thank you, Chris. As Chris showed, when you build your Flutter app on Windows, you expect to have complete control over every pixel, just like you do on any other platform that Flutter supports. You want your choice of animations, control over the theming, smooth scrolling, access to a wide array of font choices, and the list goes on. And when it comes to taking maximum advantage of Flutter to build rich, interactive experiences, there's no one better than our longtime partner, Rive. And today, we have Guido from Rive to show us how they're building on Windows.
Hi, I'm Guido, the co-founder of Rive. Rive allows creators to add rich, animated, interactive content to their products, while providing open source runtimes to deploy to a wide variety of platforms. With Rive, designers and developers collaborate to make apps, websites, and games stand out with animated user interfaces and hero moments that inform, guide, and engage. Data visualizations that shape narratives around complex information. Animated icons, stickers, and emojis that help convey human emotions across digital channels. Rich characters like assistants, mascots, cartoons, heroes, and villains. 1 year ago, we released Rive for the web, giving everyone the power to create interactive animations in their browsers. But our pro-level designers and developers need the highest quality app and the fastest possible performance. So today, we're excited to announce Rive for Windows Desktop. We use Flutter to build our desktop app for Windows, avoiding the legacy dependencies that come with browser-based platforms. Flutter widgets provide a great starting point for our UI layout management interactions, while also giving us the opportunity to easily customize the application experience for our specific needs. Flutter provides a truly native experience, with Dart compiled to machine code for each desktop platform, leading to efficient memory usage and low overhead for all CPU operations. This puts the best possible performance in the hands of Rive professionals on Windows desktop and tablet computers. Leveraging Flutter and CodeMagic, we can deploy straight to the Microsoft Store, giving our users a standardized installation experience, easy updates, and confidence in the app security. Check out this complex file we've got running in Rive for Windows. We have multiple artboards that all have their own animations. We then use nested artboards to create a rich scene. It's running all the separate animations at the same time, but we have more animations in the scene, which we can run in conjunction with each other using our state machine. As the state machine is running, you can see that we can interact with the inputs and make all the various animations and nested artboards react in real time. While it's running, we can quickly pan around the stage, zoom in and out, and even resize the entire window without skipping a beat. This is the power of Rive for Windows Desktop built with Flutter. Look for Rive in the Microsoft Store soon. We're so excited to see what you create with it.
Rive has done an amazing job of not just providing a Windows app that looks great and utilizing what makes a desktop unique. They've also done a great job integrating their app into the surfaces of Windows itself. You may have noticed their custom title bar to provide a modern look, as well as taking advantage of those otherwise neglected pixels. Moreover, they integrate with the file systems, the standard dialogues, and install like any other Windows app. And you will want to look for the Rive app in the Windows Store.
Rive is like
In addition, the Windows embedder for Flutter automatically integrates with services like global text input, so your Windows apps are global ready. Here you see the Windows input method editor in action using the standard Flutter text field. Also, Flutter is committed to supporting you in making your apps more usable, inclusive, and accessible. Now let's take a listen to what the Windows narrator can do with standard Flutter semantic info to provide a more accessible experience for users who are visually impaired. We've blurred the image a little just to give you a sense of how important this feature is to users who need it.
Desktop photo search window, Flutter view, pane. Search for photos using the Fab button. Search for a photo button. Alert, search query, edit. Cap Y, A, S, A, K, A. Cancel button. Search button. Yasaka. Photo by Cosminserban button. The Hokanji Temple or the Yasaka Pagoda in Kyoto during sunset image. Photo by Cosminserban on Unsplash button. Download button.
One other differentiator for a native desktop app is performance. Because Flutter apps on Windows are compiled to services like global text input, so your Windows apps are global ready. Here you see the Windows input method editor in action using the standard Flutter text field. Also, Flutter is committed to supporting you in making your apps more usable, inclusive, and accessible. Now let's take a listen to what the Windows narrator can do with standard Flutter semantic info to provide a more accessible experience for your users who are visually impaired. We've blurred the image a little just to give you a sense of how important this feature is to users who need it.
Desktop photo search window, Flutter view, pane. Search for photos using the Fab button. Search for a photo button. Alert, search query, edit. Cap Y, A, S, A, K, A. Cancel button. Search button. Yasaka. Photo by Cosminserban button. The Hokanji Temple or the Yasaka Pagoda in Kyoto during sunset image. Photo by Cosminserban on Unsplash button. Download button.
One other differentiator for a native desktop app is performance. Because Flutter apps on Windows are compiled to native x64 assembly instructions when you create your release builds. Those apps are going to have a small distribution size, launch with zero latency, run at native speeds, and with a memory overhead measured in megabytes, not gigabytes. This lets you tackle large data sets while still taking advantage of the rich animations and smooth scrolling you expect from Flutter. To show off the raw performance of Flutter on Windows, let's hear from Hannah what Rose has done in their next-gen spreadsheet.
Hello there, I'm Hannah, and today I'm excited to share how we are using Flutter to create the future of spreadsheets here at Rose. So, what's Rose? Rose is a spreadsheet with superpowers. It combines the power of spreadsheets with built-in integrations and a gorgeous sharing experience. This means you can send emails, send Slack messages, get data from LinkedIn, monitor crypto prices, all of that without code. And when you're ready, you can share this spreadsheet as a beautiful web app that's fully responsive and make it interactive with things like buttons, input fields, and a lot more. Rose is already live as a web app that has been in the making for some years now. But in 2021, we decided to create our own desktop app. We started this project with one principle in mind: performance. Creating a smooth experience that felt natural for the millions of people that use spreadsheets every day, and keeping a pixel-precise scrolling while handling thousands of cells with the most frames per second as possible was the thing that would drive our technical choices for this product. A spreadsheet can have hundreds of columns and thousands of rows, resulting in possibly millions of cells. Following that, we obviously had scrolling in both directions. This alone is a huge performance compromise, but the challenge doesn't stop there, as each cell can contain all different types of content. For example, numbers, formulas, charts, and even entire JSON objects. Another important factor for us is directly tied to our mission: create tools that make computation accessible to everyone. The value of deploying to multiple platforms was absolutely fundamental for us. There were three possible ways of creating the app: an HTML-based toolkit, fully native, and Flutter. And after considering these two factors, multi-platform and great performance, Flutter was not only a great choice, but the only one to fit the bill. and time proved how great that choice was. We worked on a sliver-based grid engine that can scroll outstandingly smooth. In nano scenarios, we can easily go to 60 frames per second. Even in 4K screens, where I have more than 3,000 cells in each scroll frame, we go for a comfortable and understandable 30 frames per second. Animated Selections takes the best of the Flutter intrinsic animations to deliver a great user experience, while the Formula Composition takes the Flutter text editing system to an extreme, using text stands for highlights, and each cell takes advantage of the canvas to paint all possible types of content. You can try the Flutter version of Rose right now, as the beta for Windows and macOS are available for download at the Rose website. And we plan to ship an iPad version soon. Thanks to the Flutter team for the awesome job and for having me. Bye.
After seeing the amazing work that Rose and Rive have done to support Windows, and the ease with which Chris was able to target Windows, we hope that you see how we've taken the power of Flutter and integrated closely with the world's most popular desktop operating system, giving you the best of both for your apps. And we're not done yet. In the coming months, you will hear more from us on delivering stable support for macOS and Linux, making a full set of desktop, web, and mobile platforms available for your production Flutter apps. Okay, so how do you get started with Flutter on Windows? All you need to do is install Flutter 2.10, which is released today at flutter.dev. If you're an existing Flutter developer, you'll be happy to know that Flutter 2.10 includes a number of new features, as well as performance and quality improvements. Check.
Okay. How to start. Update to Flutter 2.10.
Check out our blog post, which covers those changes in more detail. We can't wait to see what you're going to build with Flutter 2.10 on Windows. Thanks for watching, and bye now.
Okay, so I already have the Flutter SDK. So if I made a tutorial, that wouldn't be a oh wait. Okay, so I have the stable channel of 2.10. Oh. Okay, Flutter Doctor. Oh. Let's run Flutter Doctor. Let me actually see. I'll pull up the Discord. Let me see if there's any pinned messages. Let me open up Android Studio. Okay. Okay, somehow it has Linux, but it doesn't have. Okay, let me do open command prompt, run Flutter Docker. I'll just put it in pictures. Help desk. I'm gonna run it on desk. Flutter create platforms. CD desktop. Okay, so let's go to apps. File. Slide puzzle new. What the heck? Did that just do it? And OS. Say okay, so I figured it out. Did I just close out of it? Please install desktop development with C++. I'm just gonna search There's 6 programs. There's no way. No, okay. It's back. These are some cool images, though. All right. Okay, it's finishing up. Okay, let's try this again. First, let's run Flutter Doctor. Okay, let's try this again. VS Code. Desktop. Visual Studio with C++. Oh my. Um, okay. Um, all right, gotta go get my phone. Um, Visual C++. That should be it. Oh. Oh. Let's see. Okay. Oh, whoops. Okay, I guess I didn't need to do that. Let's see, install. Desktop development with C++. Okay, I guess that's how you do it. Okay, let's close that out. Get this back here. Setting. System setting? No. Alright, Bumblebee. Gonna fix all the problems in Android Studio. This was actually a good tech talk or TED talk. TEDx, it's kind of like kind of whack. I would actually
Having trouble
love to
choosing a
see
boot camp to start
what
your web
apps he
development
built
career?
and how
Try the first week of write once, run anywhere is actually a Java catchphrase that goes back to the 90s and has nothing to do with Flutter, but it should, because Flutter is a tool that allows you to write one codebase and deploy to multiple platforms like iOS, Android, the web, macOS, and Windows. And we can even throw Linux and Fuchsia in there as well. If that sounds too good to be true, then it might be, because cross-platform development is not all rainbows and butterflies. It's extremely important to understand the trade-offs with Flutter or any cross-platform tool. Today we'll build 5 apps in 5 minutes from a single codebase, but afterwards we'll examine the pros and cons of this approach and ask the question, can you really build a successful app on all these platforms from a single codebase? The app we're building today has a few buttons where the user can pick their favorite color, but the special thing about it is that it will save that color on the device's local storage, allowing the selected color to stay active between sessions. And it works from a single API across all platforms, even though they have their own different local storage systems. Like iOS has NS user defaults, Android has shared preferences, the web has local storage, and I don't even know what Windows or Mac use, but the beauty of Flutter is that I don't have to care. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, then let's set a timer for 5 minutes. After installing Flutter, we can create a new app by going to the command line and running flutter create. That'll give us some starter code in the main Dart file, which we can run with the Flutter run command. In the background, the framework will build your code in debug mode for whatever device you're currently targeting. In VS Code, the Flutter extension gives you the option to choose different devices based on how your system is configured. In my case, I have a couple of browsers and also a couple of Android emulators. I'll develop the app on Android and then bring it over to other platforms later. After running the app, it should be displayed in the Android emulator, and we can hot reload it by typing R into the command line. And it also provides a couple of links in the browser with additional debug tools for us. One thing this app needs to do is store data on the local device when the user picks their favorite color. And in order to do that, we'll install the shared preferences plugin in our pubspec YAML file. The package is just a basic key value store that can work with a native storage mechanism on any device. Now, if we go over to our source code, I'm just going to build this thing out very quickly. In my stateful widget, I have a map of different colors, and then the user can click a button to select one of those colors as their primary or preferred color. We can render the buttons to the UI by looping over the map and including an elevated button for each one of the colors. The selected color will be used for the background in the app bar, so we create a method that updates the state of the component whenever a button is clicked. If we go ahead and run the app and click a button, the color of the app bar should change. However, if we do a full restart, you'll notice that state is lost and the preferred color goes back to the default. To address that, we need to store a small amount of data on the device itself that can be accessed between sessions. The way that's possible is by creating a method that not only updates the state on the widget itself, but also saves that value with shared preferences using a key of color. Once that data has been saved on the device, we can then create another method that reads it and can update the state automatically if we call the method in init state. Now, one other thing you'll notice about this app is that we're showing the end user the platform that they're currently running on. We can do that easily by importing the Dart.io package, which has a platform class. It allows us to access the operating system, which we can just interpolate into a string. When you target multiple platforms, you'll often have UI elements or logic that needs to be different on different platforms. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of cross-platform development, but it's often unavoidable. You can use conditional logic to check the platform you're on and then run different code based on that platform. If you're only targeting iOS and Android, it's usually not a big deal. But if you're also targeting the web and desktop, your platform checking requirements might get pretty crazy. Now that we have a fully polished app on Android, let's bring it over to other platforms, starting with iOS. To run the code on an iOS emulator, I've just cloned the project over to my MacBook, which already has an emulator set up in Xcode, so all I have to do is hit Flutter run, and we're already up and running on iOS. That's 2 mobile platforms down. Now let's shift our attention over to the web. In the file explorer, you'll notice a directory called web, and inside that directory, we have an index.html file. Flutter takes your Dart code and converts it to JavaScript that injects it into this HTML page. If we go ahead and change our device to Chrome and VS Code and then run the app again, it should automatically pull it up in the browser. But as you can see here, we get a red error screen because platform is not supported on the web. To do platform checking on the web, we need to import a different variable called k as web. Then we'll update our expression with it to be a ternary so we can show the proper text when we're on the web. Everything looks good now, and if we open up the browser DevTools and type in local storage, you can see that it has our color stored there. That's pretty cool, but now it's time to build our desktop apps. Desktop support is a beta feature, so we need to enable it from the command line. Once enabled, we can then add desktop support to our existing project. We can just run Flutter create with the platforms of macOS and Windows from the root directory of our existing project. From there, I recommend running Flutter Doctor to see if there's anything else you need to install on your machine to build for desktop. I had to install.
Let's run Flutter Doctor again. All right. All those issues are resolved. Android toolchain. Let's update this. I can close out of this. Reopen. Oh, I closed it out. Okay. This would be an awesome video to emulate. I'm actually going to create a playlist called emulate. These, and it's going to be private. This one's great. $330K, 376, 476K. I think that is actually really cool. Flutter tutorial for beginners has 1.7 million views. This guy, as cringy as he is on TikTok, he's actually like crushing it. Um, That's like a very specific need, but it's something that everyone will need. And I could probably do the same thing with Rive. Okay, cool. So we got Bumblebee. Let's run Flutter Doctor again. Let's see what this is. Android SDK is composed. Okay. SDK location on the left plane. So what's the actual problem here? Command line tools component is missing. SDK. Okay, so we go into Android Studio. We go to File, Project Structure. Project SDK, there's no SDK. Project compiler output. Hey, Dango. Okay. SDK location in the left pane. Oh. Click File Project Structure. Um, Let me see if someone has a video.
Hello everyone, this is a quick tutorial covering the installation of Android SDK using command line tools. So first of all, we're going to navigate to this page. The link will be in the description box, and then scroll down to the bottom of the page where we have command line tools only. If you want to download and install the entire Android Studio, you can do that at the top of the page, but this is just the command line tools. You click the one applicable to your system. You click in Windows, there is a terms and conditions page that you agree, and you download. And that is the first part of the process. From there, you extract it using whatever extracting tools you have on your system, and you can see it is extracted here. I'm going to create a new folder wherever you extracted it to. I'm going to call the folder Android. And then you are going to move the command line tools to the Android folder. So in the command line tools, you're going to create another folder and call it latest. And then move the content of the command line tools folder, bin, name, notice of text, the associated property into the latest folder. So the path should look like this. Next, we're going to open the terminal, and then we're going to go to the path that the Android folder is in. And then we're going to navigate to the bin folder, and there we're going to type SDK manager.bat list. Then we're going to wait a bit.
I don't think this is what I need. File settings. System settings, Android SDK. SDK, command line tools. Apply. Okay, so that's how you do that. Let's open up command prompt again. Whoa, everything works. Okay, time to start developing. So we've got this. We can open Windows and run it. That is so cool. I don't know what those are for. Netflix is huge. It's definitely broken, but I mean, as far as actually working, so there must just be a spacer that's throwing everything off. Like right here. So cool. Does hot reload work? So cool. Hot reload works. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So we got it working. That's awesome. Okay, the next thing is going to be to keep going with the tile puzzle app. And I may even make a video where I teach how to make a Windows style application. Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. Let's get back to developing. Okay, I don't know what any of that means. Oh, that's cute. Little bumble. Okay, that's a little freaky. Android Studio. I'd like to see this issue addressed. Okay, now Bumblebee isn't opening. Okay. Whoops. File. Project structure. Modules. Add. Excluded. Oh, I see. Okay. Add. Did that only do it for that file? Oh my gosh. Okay, so this could be a tutorial in and of itself. Right now, I just updated to the newest version of Android Studio. And no matter how many times I click this button for the device manager, nothing happens. So the way you fix that is you go to File, Project Structure. You're going to go into Modules, and then Add Android. And then once you hit Apply, it'll open it. It's really weird. I don't know why it doesn't do that. The thing that stinks right now is you have to do that for every one of your projects. Like if I open this one and I try to open the device manager in just a second, I have the same problem. So hopefully this is something that they fix soon, but definitely going to be something that we can work around in the meantime. All right. One 25. All right. It's 10 o'clock. I'm probably gonna take a break, maybe edit those into videos for people. But okay, but we got that working. Wait, did that not work? File, project structure. Modules, add, Android. Oh, I think I forgot to actually show how to do it. So there's this problem with Android Studio where no matter how many times I click the device manager, nothing happens. And here's how you fix it. Go into File, Project Structure. You're gonna click this plus icon, select Android, and then click Apply. And once you do that, you'll be able to access this. Okay. Windows, desktop. I want to stick with that. I think I can actually do some cool stuff. So for now, I mean, I've got everything working. Netflix, cool UI, this window. Okay, let's just run this. Oh, I didn't even think I can just start recording. Show people what they need and then stop recording.
Tired of fighting with Google to hire top software engineers? Why spend months and money keeping?
Oh, that's gross. Wait, is it trying to run it right here? That sucks. Oh, because they want it integrated so you can do it like this. Like, how am I supposed to get a good... I gotta see if that's the case. Hold on.
In 2021.1 is now available for download. This release brings a lot of UI polish and new features in various parts of the IDE, such as profilers, inspectors, design tools, and more. There are also many internal changes, including the new resource shrinker, lint build cache support, a unified Gradle test runner for more repeatable tests, and new Android Gradle plugin APIs for plugin and library authors. Let's see all of those in more detail. First, for users of Compose, our next-generation UI toolkit, Android Studio Bumblebee brings interactive preview. When turned on, it lets you test interactions such as taps or animations on your preview composables and see the effects right in the preview window. Taking a step back from Compose and into the world of XML, Android Studio's layout editor and layout validation tool gained a set of predefined reference devices that let you quickly preview your screens on a variety of form factors, such as phones, tablets, and foldables. If you use animated vector drawables in your apps, we have another tool for you, the AVD Animation Preview, which lets you quickly play those animated drawables in the IDE. That's quite a lot of options to preview your work without even having to deploy your app to a device. But once you decide to do it, Bumblebee now offers a new Device Manager UI to help manage both emulators and physical devices. You can access it here on the right-hand side to see a list of devices as well as create new ones. When running an emulator, you will notice it now appears embedded in the Android Studio interface by default, which you can change in settings. On the Physical Devices tab, you can...
Yeah, I don't want that. Are you kidding me? I mean, I guess it's not a huge deal, but look at this. It's like so slow. Okay, so right now I am trying to get my Android emulator to work on Android Bumblebee, and it's just not happening. It's been sitting like this for probably over 5 minutes. I think I found a fix, so I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna go into Nexus 6 and select Show on Disk, and then I'm gonna look for file types that are .lock. I'm going to delete this. Okay, let's try this again. Show on disk. Look for file type .lock and just delete it. Now, let's hope that that works. Okay, so that wasn't enough to get it working, but I think I've found another solution. Go into File, Settings, and then in Tools, you're going to go into Emulator. And it says launch in a tool window. Let's uncheck this. Apply. Select OK. We're going to close out and we're going to try it again. Perfect. And that's how you get it back. So that works for me. It didn't work when it was embedded. So hopefully that helps you all. It would have been, it's almost a cool idea, but it just, implementation, I guess, isn't there yet. Emulator. Okay. So that's actually pretty cool. Now I am going to get this situated. Let's enable this. And then start recording. All right, so Marcus Sing's video on this Netflix redesign is probably one of the coolest things that really inspired me to get started in Flutter development and then really designing my own applications because I saw how beautiful and amazing they could be. What inspired me to do his course, and that's what inspired me to really start programming. So I really want to, but the problem is it's a speed code. It's only about 7 minutes long, and you can't really follow along, especially if you're a beginner. So I'm going to be slowing it down. I'm going to be creating a tutorial that you can follow along with and really learn from. I may be improving the UI a little bit or as much as I can. And then also explaining what he's doing and how he creates certain objects. So yeah, hopefully this helps someone. So let's begin. And I have the full application right here. I need to actually project. So he starts out with main Dart. Um, as well as movie screen Dart, home screen Dart, and he also has content scroll open, which might be in widgets. And fixing this, I showed you how to do that in the previous video, but now we're just going to get started with the actual coding of it. And the way we're going to start is by calling home screen. And we are going to, let me see, I'm pretty sure he starts with empty files. Yep, let me get this started. Camera. Okay, time lapse. So, home screen state. Sorry. Oh. Okay, so he's starting in home screen. So, let's just go ahead and delete all of this. Let's get a build method. And let's a scaffold. Now the scaffold you'll see is just the background. That's what everything is going to be built upon. So it's not paired. I think I have one too many. So we'll just take this one step at a time. And we'll start with this. So this is the scaffold. It's just a white background. And he actually specifies the color, which is white. And then he has an app bar, which is an actual app bar. It's funny because in most of his videos he specifies this. He creates a custom app bar. But he has an app bar with background color. Oh, whoa. We want a white app bar because we don't want it to contrast with anything. Elevation of 0.0, which I don't think you have to specify. I think that's the default. Title is going to be the text that's actually on there. Oh, okay. And just because of the positioning of it, what he does is he uses an image dot asset. Netflix logo.png. The reason he did that is because the title is or should be in the middle. Let's see if this works. Okay, so it's in the middle, but what we actually need to do is add a size property, maybe a width. Let's do 300. Oh, because one of the problems is it gets way too big. Can you do max width? No. Let's just do a width of 150. And that looks like that. And it's not centered. So we have the title. Now we're going to add a leading icon, which is going to be probably icons menu or something. Like a hamburger menu. Oh yeah. That makes sense. So here's what that looks like. He has icon button. And then he has padding. Edge insets probably, oh, only? Yeah, that makes sense. So he only puts it on the left, and that's because he only needs padding on the left. Everything else is going to be spaced out independently. So he does left and he does 30.0. And it needs a child, doesn't it? No, it probably needs on pressed. Let's just do that for now. So we're adding an icon to the button, which is something that it needs, and we want to add icon dot menu. And you'll see, and the color is white. So we're just going to show every step along the way. So that's what it looks like. If I were to remove this padding, it would just be further off towards the left. And it doesn't look as good. I'm sure he's going to keep everything flush at 30 pixels. So icons menu, okay. And then he also adds an icon size, which is colors.black. Oh, wait, sorry. He adds a size of 30.0. And that just makes it a little bigger, a little more defined. Now that's the strange thing, is he actually has it where the Netflix icon is centered. I'm gonna see if I can do that by just wrapping this in a center. Looks like that, but it's offset by 30, which is kind of annoying. So we'll see what we can do about that. Maybe a spacer would be better. We'll figure it out as we go. And then actions is what shows up at the end. So the first thing that we've changed is we actually gave this a width. Let's make that a little smaller so it matches up with everything else. Not too much. Let's stick with 100. So we have this Netflix here. Let's remove the center for now. Leave it right there. And then actions are what are going to be at the end of the menu. So we have an icon button. And we can probably actually... What he said is when on press you print yeah, probably, yeah. So let's save that, and then I'm actually just going to copy this, paste it in here, and we're going to change this to search. We're going to change this to search. And that should be, oh, instead of left, we want this as right. And that will give us this here. Now when we add the title, let me see if we can just do like center. Okay, so it's centered. And that's all we needed. So now let's move on to the next step. Let's see what he does. Okay, so he creates a page controller. I'm actually not super familiar with page controllers. I know that it's for animations, so he did it this way. I'm pretty sure with new like Flutter 2.0 null safety, you have to do it like this. Page controller is equal to page controller, I think. It isn't used, let's see. Oh wait, initial page is 1, and we're just kind of following along with this. Viewport fraction viewport fraction is equal to 0.8. And I actually don't know what that does, so the fraction of the viewport that each page should occupy. Page. Oh, okay. So it looks like it's a way to map information between pages. So within the scaffold, there's another property called body. And the body is going to be everything below the app bar pretty much. Right now it's empty, so it's just white. But we're going to add a list view. And list view has children. First child is going to be a container. And I'm guessing he's just using this. No, he's not using it for padding. So this is just the first element. And he gives it a height of 280. He gives it a width of double infinity, which means that it takes up the entire screen. And he gives it a child of a page view builder. And for now, we'll keep it with an empty builder. We'll say return container. Return container with a height 100, a width of 100, and a color of blue. So we've got controller as page controller. What's going on there? Sure, let's make it final. We forgot a colon, that's why. And item builder. Item count page controller. That doesn't make any sense. No, sorry. So he has data populated already that he called movies. So the item count is just movies dot length. And item builder has to have build context. And probably an int index. Okay. Just so you know what's going on right here, because it just looks like a giant thing, let's add a margin of edge insets dot symmetric horizontal 30.0. And you don't have to do this, but this is just to show you there are 3 different containers. And he's about to build out the first part of the movie, so I'll go ahead and follow this. Height 280 double infinity. Okay, and his item builder returns movie selector dot index. Okay. Which he builds probably up here. In index, let's do this, return so it's an animated builder. Animation is page controller. And the builder is probably a builder method with build context. What is the widget? Oh, so he must be using this in all three instances. Widget. And then he specifies the widget that he wants. That would actually be really cool. So I'll probably understand what he's doing here later, but if page controller dot position dot have dimensions page controller dot page minus index. It's all red right now because I haven't had a return. What the heck? Value is equal page controller dot page. No, wait. Value is equal, okay, to 1 minus value dot absolute times 0.3. This is plus 0.6 dot clamp zero to 1. Okay, I see what he's doing. Oh. Wow, I just guessed. So he's got that. For now, I'm just going to return a container. Didn't work. Oh. It's about null safety. You can't pass a widget that might be null. You just add a question mark right here. And that's not doing anything. Return center child is a sized box. With a height of dot ease in out dot transform what the um value 27 width I think I know what he's doing here. Ease in out dot transform value times 400. Child is widget. The child is stack. Okay, so this is him building the round image. And you'll see what I mean in a second. But page controller dot page. Let's see. Okay, so we had to have like a real value for that. Okay, and then child is a stack. Oh. That was the problem. Okay. So the child is a stack with children of widgets. He specifies the type. I typically don't, which don't know if that matters. Let's do a center. We have child, container. Okay, so let's go back to he has this container with margin of symmetric edge insets. Let's just do that real quick. And then horizontal 10, vertical 20. And then it has it's a box decoration. And let's see, he has a radius, a circular radius, and a box shadow, black box shadow. So let's do that. Radius, border radius dot circular, radius 10. Yep. So this is gonna round out the box, and then this box shadow is gonna make it pop. So box shadow, shadow. Oh. Color, that black 54. Offset 0 and 4. And blur radius is 10.0, which is about right. Now let's just what is that the child of? That's the child of the box decoration. No, whoops. It's the box. It's the child of the container. So child is an image in a center. Okay. Oh, and he uses a hero for the animation. So right now we'll just follow along and build out what he's building, and then I'll explain how it works. Hero tag movies at index dot image URL. Child is probably going to be image, right? Okay, here we go. So this will finish what we're trying. So the child clip rect, and the border radius is circular dot 10.0, and the child is an image. Image is asset image. it's going to be the same thing here. So we just take this. Okay. There's a height. Fit. Box. Fit. Cover. And what that means it's going to do is it's going to stretch over the entire container. Oh, whoops. There we go. Oh, whoops. Let's go here. Even. Okay. So now when I save, the getter index. I think that's what I meant to do. Boom. Okay, so now we have these awesome images. They're looking really clean. And now, okay, now the scroll view makes sense. So, or the page controller. So, look at this. I can scroll it to about here and then it'll go. But I can scroll it like it doesn't, it's not like a list view builder where I could stop it right in the middle. It's always going to select one of these as the default and then transition to it. And so that's where I think that's where this comes into play. If page controller dot position dot have dimensions. Let me see what happens if I comment this out. I think this is for the next page. I think it is. I think the animated builder is going to build the next page. And this is the calculation for the circle, but I could be wrong. but I think that's how it works, because you've got this, the curves ease in and out, so it's gonna come in, and then with the height it does the same thing. So it creates a circle, kind of. Center hero. And then all that this is we're about to start adding to the stack, but each of these is just a stack. And we're going to add text. We're going to be adding different things. So let's build it the way that he builds it. And then this should be the text. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to show you what he does right here. Okay. So within a stack, you can specify, picture this entire square as a stack. It's like the canvas that you can put things on. You can also specify where you want things. So with this stack, we have it here, children here. So let's go down. And outside of that center widget, we're going to have a positioned widget, which allows us to specify the position. And the child is going to be text. For now, it's just filler. And we want to have so we can specify different attributes. So for example, left, he said is 30.0. Well, actually, let's not specify. Let's just show. So look, this text is way up on the outside of the stack. That's because all of this is contained within the container, or within the stack. And then there's size constraints that put this in the center. So what we can do to make this text fit in with the rest of the theme is add a left constraint, which pushes it in from the left 30 pixels. And now it's lined up with the box. And then the other constraint that we're going to add is a bottom constraint, and that's 40. So that'll push it up 40 pixels from the bottom. So now you see it's up and it's in. But it looks horrible. So that's where this text style comes in. First, let's get the right text. So it should be movies at index dot title, right? To uppercase, and all that does is it makes it all caps. And you'll see now, you can see Spider-Man Far From Home, the Nutcracker, and Toy Story 4. Now we're going to add our text style. So we use the style attribute. We specify a text style. And then I'm pretty sure he makes the color white. And he probably makes the font like 18. 20. And they probably, yeah, wait. Okay. I should probably show you what each is. I mean, it's pretty intuitive. Let's get rid of this for now. So now it's white and it's bigger. But it's running off the end on this one. So we can fix that by going in and, well, we can fix it in a second. First, let's add the weight. So weight probably does W600. Let me check. Okay, he does bold. you can see Spider-Man Far From Home, the Nutcracker 4. What I'm also going to do is pretty much copy that out of the box shadow. But what I want to do is take this whole center, hero, clip art rect, copy it, paste it here. And this isn't something that he does, but something that he does in another video that I think would be valuable. So let's remove this. And I did that by just pressing Alt Enter and then going to the bottom. And you'll see right now that why did that just ruin the padding? Oh, because it's not in the same box. So this container has a margin, stack, horizontal, vertical. So I'm going to want to wrap this in the same. Okay, so here's what this is going to look like. Let's take this entire thing, copy it, paste it, and then we're going to slowly start deleting properties. The first thing is we don't want the box shadow, because I'll save this and show you what it looks like right now. You got this really thick box shadow because you have two stacked on top of each other. So let's get rid of this. And then it's not even going to have a child. So if let's say I make this blue or something, like it covers the entire thing, but it doesn't go any further than that. So what I'm actually going to do is, instead of colors blue, I'm going to add a gradient, and it's going to be a linear gradient. And you'll see why this is important in a second, but colors, we want what do we want? We want colors.transparent, and we want colors.black. And so now you see we've got this nice gradient on all the pictures. So we're going to take that, but right now it's going the wrong direction. We want it to be darker where the text is, and then get cleaner as we go up, so it's a more vivid image, but with that dark. So let's add a begin, and we're going to say top center. No, center top. That is top center. And we're going to do an end of bottom center. And when we save, now you can see you've got better visibility, I guess, or readability on the text. But right now it goes way too far. Everything is getting cut out. So we're going to add some stops. And think this is how stops work. So let's do 0.5. Zero 0.9. Okay. So now we've still got the vivid images. So this has got to be 1.0. So now we've got these. What's going on there? There's like this ugly drop right here. That's gonna break it, right? Point 5. 0.75. 1.0. Oh, maybe that's just because it goes to full black. Oh no, it goes to black 54. Let's just do it to black. There, that looks so much better. And we'll do 0.5 to get it like that. And there, now we have this nice color of the image, but we still have this gradient. And the gradient, I'd say, is a little too harsh. So we're going to do black.with opacity and do 0.7. It looks like that. But that just gives it a little more readability. Try 6. Let's try 1. Oh, that's what it is. It's not. So let me see how this works. Border radius, circular, 10.0, height 220. But in this one, so I'm going to add a height 220. There we go. Okay. And now we don't need the opacity. I'll keep a little bit of it. I'll do like 0.8. Now I've got this really good contrast. Time to go to the next thing. And then he probably adds some sort of overflow to the text style. Oh, okay. And he wraps the text in a movie? Or okay, so he wraps the text in a container, and the container has a width of 220, right? Okay, and that that fixes the overflow. Okay. Now let's jump up just a little bit. Got that, onto the next thing. So I hope that this is actually helpful to follow along with. Let's see where he's going. He's back at the bottom. He goes back into the build method. And we have this list of widgets within the list view, which is just a way to make your screen scrollable. On Android, you can't scroll, but on iOS, you can, if it doesn't yet exceed the screen length. But here we go. List view children. So after this container, he adds a new container. And it's probably going to be a pretty similar process to build out the next thing. Okay, so let's start with this. So we have a container and it's at a height of 90, right? And then we have a child that is a list view. And he uses the builder. Yeah. So he uses the builder method, and the item builder is going to have build context, as well as int index. That should be what you need. And then this, and right now we'll just return a container. But there are other elements that we actually need to specify. So the item builder is going to contain it's going to have an item count. And for this one, he has semantic labels within his data. So this is all data that was provided by him in his video. If you download from the repo, like I showed you in the last video, you'll know how to do this. And then he's got a scroll direction, which is horizontal. And when we save that, so okay, that doesn't matter right now. So right now we have a list view. It looks like there's just one element, but it's just the same as this list view, except without all the proper spacing. So this is what we have right now. we're just going to build that out. This is how he does it. So he does return a container, but let's see what his has. So first off, he adds margin, edge insets.all, and I think it's 10.0. Yeah. So what that does, let's keep the container that we had and do a width of 30 and a height of 10. The edge insets margin should add spacing. Oh, because it's white right now. So you can see there's these different elements and there's spacing between all of them, and it's unique. And so we have list view builder. He added the edge inset spacing, a width of 160. And now it's looking more like a button. And he didn't specify a height so that it just occupies or should occupy whatever the container size is. And then let's keep going. So decoration is a box decoration because it's a box. Border radius. But for now, I'm just going to do color.red. And border radius is going to give it that like those rounded edges. So oh, whoops. That's going to round it out. And then let's work on the gradient. So he has a gradient, probably a linear gradient. Yeah. And the linear gradient begins probably on the left. I'm just going to guess and ends on the center. And I haven't added the colors yet. Oh, he does top center, bottom center. I actually like that better. And then we need the colors. And the colors are going to be... Oh, he specified them. That's whack. But it works. It's fine. Oh, he does it from top to bottom, actually. Yeah. It's not in an array. Here we go. Color 0xFF means that it's, oh my gosh, 0xFF means that it is like full opacity. And then D45253 is the color of the red. So D45253. And right now you can see, actually, that's almost white. Unless it needs a second one. But then 0. Okay, 0x FF. (9E1 F28) 9 E1 F2 8. Oh, it's an O. 0. Here we go. There we go. This looks a little brighter than mine. But yeah, it says box shadow. Right, it's box shadow. Whoops. Box shadow is going to be box shadow. I think is did it wrong again. But this box shadow is just going to make the button pop a little more. Color is going to be color. FF9E1F2 8. Offset. Zero 0.0, 2.0, so that's the X and the Y offset. So that just pushes out. And then we also want blur radius to be 6.0. And that makes it spread out, so that's what that looks like. Oh, and that's cool. He's got like a red kind of glow to it. And the child is going to be center widget. And then in that is going to be child text. And there's probably a label. Labels at index to upper. That looks like that. But now we need to style it. So he's probably going to do a similar thing with, my guess is like 16.0 font and W600 boldness. I'm gonna try and I'm gonna see if that's right. The style, text style, and we're just gonna do color white, and we're gonna do boldness. No, wait. We're gonna do W6, and for oh yeah, size, we'll do like 16.0. I'm gonna see if that's what he does. Oh, he might do a lesser white. Oh no! He did font weight bold. Okay. He just likes that bold lettering. Letter spacing 1.8. Wow, that's some wide letter spacing. Okay. Child list view builder. Edge insets dot symmetric. Horizontal 30.0, right? Why did these not line up? Hold on. Oh, he has the Nutcracker as the main one? Is that just an iPhone thing? Why is his kind of glows? Do I still have that one text commented out? He's got like a sizing difference. I don't know why that is. Also, that is going to kill me. So alignment is important, and for some reason... Oh, I know why. Border radius circular, margin, edge insets. Horizontal, let's get rid of this. Okay, so let's do it there, but then let's only do $20 in here. Okay, let's go to movie selector. If I delete this 10, everything's in line. $30, $40. Yeah, it's not the actual stack. It's got to be up here. I mean, I could always do only right 20, but I don't know what happened that here it is. Edge inset symmetric horizontal 20. Oh no. Oops, that was wrong. But if I do 40, everything works out perfect. Except then this alignment doesn't match with that. So let's just keep it there for now. Okay. Let's just keep going. So what he did next is he added the size box. Which is just a spacer. So he did 0.0 for height. And then he did something called content scroll. And now we're going to go into content scroll, which he's already provided for us, and we're just going to delete it all. So while I'm deleting that, I'll run his code. I guess I'll just leave this. Build. And we're just going to return a column. Oh my god. We're just going to return a column. Children are going to be padding. Probably edge into dot symmetric. I'm guessing the horizontal is 30. Huh, 40. So he just makes it a button. Image width. So this is all dynamic based off the type of data that's being passed. So let's go back to this, which we're going to have in home screen a problem right here. Oh, whoops. Content scroll, and we're going to do if. Into my list. Title, my list. We're going to do image height to 50.0. We're going to do width to 150.0. And that's everything. Now let's get started with content scroll. So padding horizontal 40. Child, probably going to be a container or something. Let's see. So he's got the Oh, okay. He makes let's see how he does this. So he does child container. No, he does a row, right? Row, main axis alignment, space between, and then he has the children and the children on text. Title, style is text style. Oh, sorry. 18, 20. So this is the same as he's been doing in all the other things. So 20 font weight is W600. And when we run that, we have my list. Looks a lot bigger than it should be. Oh, because I did 30. That's why. Okay, so we have my list. And then under that, why did he put that in a row? Oh, because there's probably an icon. There is an icon. Okay. Why not just use an icon button for that? Why use a gesture detector with an icon? I'll just use an icon button. Icon button on pressed. We're gonna print. What are we gonna print? We're going to print search something. And the icon is gonna be what's going on? That's why. Boom. Okay, so we've got that space between, so it takes up all that. It's flush here, which is good. Even though this isn't flush. And we're just gonna keep going. I think we're about halfway done. I'll probably finish the recording another time. But here's what we got. We got my list. Container height, icon. Okay, and then under that row, we're gonna have this container, right? Under the padding as well. Okay. We're going to do a container. Height. Whoa. Really fast. Image height. It's almost as if this is a seed build. Child is going to be a list view. You're going to get really familiar with list views by the end of this because list views are pretty much used for anything that's scrollable. And the builder is going to have build. And it's going to have an index. And first we're going to child count, right? Adding symmetric. No. Edge inset symmetric horizontal 30.0. And scroll direction be horizontal. Axis horizontal, and item count is going to be images dot length. And there's the item builder. All of this on one line of code. What's going on here? And we want to return. And at least that cleans it up. And we're definitely going to be returning a container with an image inside. The margin is going to be symmetric. The horizontal is probably 30. Okay. Vertical is 20. And the width is image width. And we've got a box decoration. Which he's probably going to add some similar styling to. Border radius, box shadow. Okay. So just a border radius. Is it what, circular 10? Yeah. Because he's keeping it consistent with everything else. And then there's a box shadow, which I'm going to remember to put in, if I can find them, the brackets, and then it's a box shadow. And color. Black 54. We want offset. Zero and 4. And we want it to span like, what, 6. Okay, so we've got that. Let's see how that looks. Oh. And now we need to add the images. So let's go ahead and do that. it's probably going to be, you're going to use clip bar rec? Yeah. Woo. So he's going to add image. Okay, let's just stop it right there. So we've got a clip bar rec, border radius, circular, 10.0. Got a child, it's image. So all this is pretty standard based on what I've explained beforehand. Asset image. At the current index. And the index is passed by the builder. So we've got that. Now he's probably just going to make 3 of these in a row, right? With different heights. I think that's how. Okay, so let's do this again. We want this to be 10.0. This. I feel like his corners are a little more rounded than mine are. Okay. So now we're getting into the fun stuff, which I need to go. I'm actually going to call it. We've got the first page built. And next is where we make the next page. All right. So thanks for watching. And I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for watching that.